Hello everyone, it's Gromit&ThomasFan01 here, and welcome to my cracking video. Over the years in books and television, we have seen countless characters inhabit their own worlds and enjoy the simple meanings of life. From the talking trains of Sodor to the lovable characters of West Wallaby Street. But in 1972, an author named Roger Hargreaves created a character which would start to build a different type of world and characters. These characters would be the lovable creatures we know to this day as the Mr. Men and Little Miss. So what makes these characters so special to this day that everyone still loves? Well, before we delve into the matter at hand, I think we need to explore a little bit of the history on how the Mr. Men and Little Miss came into being. Around about 1972, Roger Hargreaves was asked a question by his son Adam, and what does a tickle look like? Roger responded by drawing an orange creature with a hat and some very peculiar, extraordinary long arms, and that was the seed of the idea. Roger decided to publish a book based on this idea and called the orange creature as the character we know and love today as Mr. Tickle. It wasn't long after that he developed another book named Mr. Greedy, and soon he made more and more characters over the years, as well as the Little Miss characters in 1984, until he passed away in 1988. During 1974, the Mr. Men stories were adapted for television by Terry Ward and his company. Since they have appeared on our television screens, the characters have appeared in many times over the years. There was the Little Miss series in 1983, Mr. Men and Little Miss series in 1995, made by Marana Productions, and most recently, the Mr. Men show in 2006, made by an American company, Renegade Animation, and was also dubbed for UK and American audiences. The characters have also had lots of merchandise dedicated to them over the years too. From t-shirts to soft toys to games to mugs, it shows how popular the Mr. Men and Little Miss are still to this day. But why are they so popular? Well, there are many reasons. One of the reasons is the characters. What makes them so charming is their personalities is what gives them their names. Characters like Mr. Grumpy, Mr. Happy, Mr. Strong, Little Miss Bossy, Little Miss Sunshine, Little Miss Tiny, and many more to be precise. It also makes us identify ourselves in these characters, that also makes it not just appealing for children, but to also adults too. Children might identify with Mr. Happy because of his bright yellow colour and happy-go-lucky character. Girls might feel like they resemble Little Miss Naughty because of some of them might feel that that's what they used to be like when they were younger. And adults might feel their personality is more like Mr. Grumpy because how they can never smile. The characters' personalities really speak volumes in terms of how they act too, such as the tones of their voices, and most importantly, their very simple facial expressions and basic designs. Speaking of designs, the look of the Mr. Men and Little Misses and their world is very basic, but also genuine. It makes us immediately recognise the brand and the world straight away from the shapes and colours of the characters and the world. Back in the old days, Roger Hargreaves did all the drawings for the books himself, and later that style was replicated from different directors over the years who have worked on the Mr. Men TV series. So it just goes to show how a simple design look can be easily recognised. It also feels that this world feels like a very safe place to live in too. There is no violence or bad references in the stories, just a very relaxing world with great characters and has good morals in some of the stories, especially the classic series and in the books too. But it's not only the characters, stories and the world that makes them special, it's also the people behind the Mr. Men and Little Miss series that have made it a success too. Of course, there's Roger Hargreaves, but there are also many other crew members that have worked on the series too. There is Adam Hargreaves, who had taken over the franchise since his father passed away. We have seen many directors like Terry Ward, who directed the first series, and Mike Risley, who directed the Mr. Men show, and last but not least, the wonderful narrators and voice actors, such as Arthur Lowe, Gordon Peters, Simon Challow, Jill Schilling, and many more too. The Mr. Men, like many other brands, are loved all over the world, and it is just so amazing to see that they are still popular to this day. I really do hope there is a new series for these characters. I mean, we've had rumours about a feature film, but besides occasional adverts, books and merchandise, we haven't seen the Mr. Men and Little Miss on TV for years now. But when they do go back on the television screen in the near future, I can bet there are loads of children as well as adults will be watching their adventures, as well as keep on watching their old adventures over and over again, and will be adored by everyone who watches them for many years to come. I'm Gromit&ThomasFan01, and I hope you enjoyed the video.